просто расслабься и просто делай свою жизнь. Нет, скинул руку. Есть. 1-0. Куда остался? Пять. Легли на спину. Легли. Легли на спину.
I'm like, there was no getting up there. It was just a matter of time before he put the smush down on him.
Training with those guys, I tell people, I'm like, if you never train with the guys from Dagestan, from somebody on their team, you don't know what it feels like. It's not regular jiu-jitsu. Like, it's like quicksand where you're in there, you think you're moving, you're looking for a way out. I'm really good at flow rolling and everything. And I'm training with them my last camp, and I'm like, I cannot move with these guys. None of them. Like, everybody on their team has that same style, same pressure on top, and I'm feeling it. And I'm like, I need to change what I do in Chicago. I need to change what I'm doing, because these guys are so dominant with the way they play, the way they grapple. It's like they're gonna beat everybody. Nobody's gonna mess with them.
What is the difference?
For the mentality, I think, is a big thing too.
Now that UFC 330 is official, attention will turn towards what might very well be Ian Machado Gary's toughest test yet in his career. Where others have analyzed Gary's mobility, distance, and strikes, it seems that Islam Makhachev may be doing something else entirely, as reports and training videos show that the champion may be focusing on the threat posed by Gary's body type and ability to fight from a distance. As the fight approaches, people are beginning to question whether or not Makhachev can prevent Gary from succeeding.
Просто оттягивай, сползай, будь минут.
Есть какой-то возрастной дедлайн? До какого возраста хотел бы выступать?
Нет, возрастной я не думаю. Есть пробег.
According to Rashad Evans, the fight against Islam Makhachev will be a lot harder for Ian Gary than many people would have thought at first. Evans admitted that Makhachev is one of the best MMA fighters today, having great striking skills, heavy kicks, and top-level grappling. However, Evans highlighted the fact that Gary himself has a set of skills that will make it hard to beat him. According to Evans, Gary is one of the greatest problem solvers and adjusts well during the match, which makes him hard to predict. Furthermore, Evans praised Gary's cunning and precise striking skills that could place Makhachev in trouble. Nonetheless, Evans did not think about the possible upset and highlighted the fact that there were still openings in Gary's game.
More fights announced, Ian Gary and Makhachev doing it in Philly.
Look, this is a lot better fight than I initially thought. We know that Islam is, you know, he's morphed to so much more than just being that dominant grappler, right? You know, his striking, his kicks, all aspects of his game is on another level. But there's something about Ian Gary's game that I feel is hard to get past. I feel like one thing that Ian does really well is that he makes adjustments really good on the fly.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
He's a problem solver.
Yeah, he's a problem solver, and I feel like that gives a little issue. He's got some sneaky power. He's got some accuracy. He got some tricky things that he does. But I'll say one thing that doesn't go in his favor.
Evans is worried about how Gary reacts when things go wrong. He thinks Gary tried to change his approach in the fight with Shavkat Rakhmonov, but then he accepted his situation instead of trying harder. Rashad said this way of thinking could be a big problem against a strong fighter like Islam, who keeps pushing and takes advantage of small chances. He also said Gary's grappling skills will be tested, but he praised Gary's toughness, long body, and fighting style. These traits could help Gary stay in the fight even if Islam does well with his wrestling.
Sometimes you'll see him in a fight and things are not going his way, and he'll kind of just, like, he'll concede to it in a sense, you know? I forget the fight that I'm thinking about, but oh yeah, the Shavkat fight. The Shavkat fight, it wasn't going his way, and I see him making his adjustments, but then after that, he was just kind of like content to just kind of, oh well, you know what I'm saying? In a sense, and maybe that's the fight that changed him, but I feel like that's the only thing in his game that I see that is probably gonna be a problem facing a Makhachev. I mean, he has a ground problem to work through, but Gary's tough, man. He's long and he's scrappy.
Jorge Masvidal thinks that Ian Gary has what it takes to make Islam Makhachev put up one heck of a fight by working way harder than many people think, especially because of Gary's movements and his defense. Jorge praised Gary's movement and called it among the best at the welterweight level, and said that he defends well in every MMA aspect. Even though Jorge spoke well of Gary, he supported Islam all along. He explained that once Islam gets his grip on his opponent, be it his leg, wrist, or any kind of body lock, he becomes impossible to dislodge. Referring to Islam's victory over Dustin Poirier via submission, Jorge says that Islam has a very rare quality of turning even the slightest opportunity into a fight-ending series of moves. He thinks that the first rounds will be very competitive, but ultimately, Islam will overpower Gary. Masvidal did not believe that the size of Gary would pose any challenge to the reigning champ. Islam is a big man, and it only becomes apparent when you are next to him, according to Masvidal. It means that Makhachev has a physique that can accommodate the height of a person. It is going to neutralize the advantages held by Gary because of his height and reach. Even though there will be some good moments for Gary in the early stages, Masvidal does not think they will make a difference in the end.
He's got the frame of like a 205er.
Yeah.
At 170, he has some of the best footwork at 170. I'll say that much. And defense everywhere, he's solid. But Makhachev is Makhachev. If he gets, you know, his fingers behind your leg, it's a problem to get him off. You know, he could have just anything, just grabbing your wrist, and he makes it a problem. We saw in that with that Dustin fight. You know, it was a close fight. All he had was those ankles, and he made a miracle work. You know, so I'm gonna go with Makhachev, but I don't think it's gonna be easy. I think the first 2-3 rounds are gonna be highly competitive, but I think Makhachev, with his will, with his championship mentality, is gonna find a way to make Ian take a passenger seat and just chill.
Yeah, because Makhachev does have a large enough frame to be able to deal with the height difference.
He's sneaky big.
He's sneaky big. He's bigger than you think he is.
He's a lot bigger than you think.
He's like 6 feet, 6'1".
Yeah, but if you look at him, like, you don't see, like, it sounds weird, right? But it's like, not until you up next to him, you're like, oh, damn, you're a lot bigger than I thought you were, you know?
Michael Bisping said that even though he respects Gary, Islam would have a big edge if he kept taking Gary down. Bisping thinks Gary would have a hard time getting away from Makhachev and wouldn't be able to match his grappling skills. But Bisping also said Gary is still a threat. His height, reach, and careful striking could annoy Islam over 5 rounds. By using his jab, push kicks, and staying active, Gary could win rounds on the judges' scorecards, even if the crowd doesn't like it.
The career of Islam is ridiculous. When you look at the last few fights that he had, the people on his resume, it's insane. Jack Della Maddalena, Renato Moicano, granted on a day's notice, and he made it look easy, got it done in just 4 minutes. Before that, Dustin Poirier submitted him. Alexander Volkanovski 2 times in a row. Charles Oliveira, Bobby Green, Dan Hooker, Thiago Moises. When Thiago Moises was the real deal, when he was a contender, when he was coming up and he was very, very hungry. So as I say, he's on a run. The record of Islam Makhachev is 28 wins and 1 loss with 18 stoppages. And of course, if he can get a hold of Ian Gary and take him down, yeah, it's probably going to be easy. Ian will struggle to get back to his feet, and I don't think he can match Islam in terms of jiu-jitsu or submission grappling, okay? But it's the style that Ian Gary has. It is the length and the reach that he has, and it is his ability to silence out the crowd and not give a damn if you people are booing. If everyone in the arena is throwing their popcorn and the drinks and going, boo, this is garbage, because all Ian Gary is doing is dancing around, popping the jab, throwing the right hand, using push kicks to keep Islam away, he won't care, because on paper or according to the judges, he's winning the fight, and his job is to win the fight and become the welterweight champion of the world.
Finally, while Bisping was certain that Islam had an advantage to keep the title, he didn't want to take the result for granted. Bisping described Makhachev as a complete professional who loves fighting and expects him to come with the full plan. On the other hand, Bisping stated that no one could underestimate Ian Gary since anything is possible in MMA. Bisping is sure that the best scenario for Gary is a disciplined stick and move approach in which he will constantly rely on his movement to evade grappling. It is not the most spectacular approach, but Bisping is sure that this is the only way Gary can win.
But it's the 3-weight division thing. It's impossible. But anyway, Islam Makhachev, I don't think he's thinking about that. All he's thinking about doing is something that other people have never done, and that is defend belts in 2 weight divisions. As I say, he defended 4 times at lightweight, and now this will be his first ever defense at welterweight. And by the way, if he gets through Ian Gary, and that is a big if, and I say that respectfully, and I assume Islam will be a massive favourite, and rightly so. I'm just saying, you can never count your chickens in this sport. You should never underestimate anyone. And Islam Makhachev is not that guy, okay? He lives and breathes the sport. That's when he's not on his farm taking care of his animals and stuff like that.
This is my dream, to make big farm. We have a lot of animals.
The man is a serious professional. He will come in ready and prepped and ready to absolutely demolish Ian Gary if he doesn't bring his A game and a stellar game plan. The game plan, as I said, will be stick and move. And that might sound boring, but it could get the job done.
According to Din Thomas, Ian Gary has the skills to make Islam Makhachev struggle, especially when it comes to his movement and striking skills. He pointed out that Gary possesses exceptional footwork and is able to move all over the cage. Thomas said that Gary can change direction and move side by side very well, which makes it hard to predict his moves. Besides, he can throw quick knees each time the opponent attempts to change level, thus deterring Islam from being aggressive with his takedowns. It means that the fighter has some qualities that can be a problem for Makhachev, who rarely encounters such opponents. Nevertheless, Thomas noted that once Islam gains control over the opponent, it becomes quite hard to prevent him from gaining momentum. Therefore, for Gary, the most important task is to prevent it.
He's got a big frame.
Yeah. But I think Ian Gary will give him problems for the exact reason you just said, his footwork.
His footwork.
He's got really good footwork. And side-to-side movement, he changes directions really fast. And he's got those knees that deter you from wanting to change level.
Right.
So he's going to present some problems to Makhachev that I don't think Makhachev has really seen yet.
Right.
And but he's still, like you said, if he gets his hands on you and he starts to get his confidence and he starts rolling downhill, like you won't stop him. But I think Ian Gary's got to make sure that he can't get that. It's a very competitive fight.
Thomas also pointed out that the key to Gary's success will be how he performs in case the fight ends up on the floor. Although he acknowledged Gary's effectiveness with the striking setups and dangerous knees that he lands off the stance changes, he said that he does not believe that Gary will always get back on his feet after being grounded. On the contrary, it was emphasized by Thomas that Gary needs to fight from every position and never give up the bottom position. It was noted by him that this is when Islam shines most of all. Makhachev does not simply keep opponents grounded, he makes them work, transitions positions, and exhausts them until they get up looking like new fighters. This was what some of the top people in MMA had to say regarding the upcoming fight between Islam Makhachev and Ian Machado Gary. Though many believe that Makhachev will retain his belt, others feel that Gary is capable of shocking the MMA community by pulling off an upset win, with a combination of Islam's superior wrestling skills and championship experience matched against Gary's physical stature, mobility, and fight IQ. This has become one of the fights of the year. As we move closer to fight night, the more polarized the views are getting, which just further enhances the hype behind this title fight. One thing that is for sure is that both these fighters have something to prove, and that once that cage door opens, none of them will show any mercy. But what do you guys think? Will Islam Makhachev continue his undefeated streak and keep the title, or will Ian Machado Gary steal it from under him?